Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel Naveed Technical Education. Today we are going to discuss about Python functions. So this is the part 1 of Python functions. These are the topics of discussion that we'll be covering up today. What is a function? Scope and lifetime of variables within a function, types of function arguments, and what is a lambda function. What is a function? See, in Python, a function is defined using the def keyword. Keyword def marks the start of a function header, a function name to uniquely identify it. Function name follows the same rules of writing an identifier in Python. Parameters, which is also called as an argument, through which we pass values to a function, but they are optional. A colon to mark the end of a function header. Optional documentation. String, we call it as a doc string to describe what the function does. One or more valid Python statement that make up the function body. Statements must have same indentation level, which we usually the 4 spaces, and an optional return statement to return a value from the function. So let's look at the demo. Let me write a very simple function. So I will first write the keyword def followed by the function name. My function name is f1 and I will give the parenthesis. Then I'll give the colon and then the indentation. Then I will print some values. So let me print hello from this function. So let me call this function. I will simply call this function, then execute it. So as you can see here, I'm getting the value. Whatever I'm printing inside the function definition is called hello from this function. See, whenever you are writing a function, first you need to specify this def keyword, then you need to specify the function name, and then what inside this you need to specify your logic. Okay, so let me give you another definition where I'm passing the argument. So this is my argument f name, and I'm printing f1 slash Naveed. So here hello. What I'm trying to do here is hello plus f name. So let me execute this function again. And you can see here I'm getting hello Naveed. Let me give you another example. So same function where I'm passing the arguments x and y and where I'm returning the sum of x and y. So return x plus y. So whenever I'm returning some values, so I need to specify the print here. So I have to give print, give the name of the function and what arguments. Let's say I want to do the sum of 6, 4. Okay. Close the bracket. Let me execute it. And you can see I'm getting the value of 10 here. So I hope you have understood. Now let's see what do you mean by scope and lifetime of a variable. See, scope of variable is the portion of a program where the variable is recognized. Parameters and variables defined inside a function is not visible from outside. Hence, they have a local scope. Lifetime of a variable is the period throughout which the variable exists in the memory. The lifetime of variable inside a function is as long as the function executes. Function variables are destroyed once we return from the function. So always remember, a function does not remember the value of a variable from its previous calls. So let's look at the demo to have a better understanding of. So let me write a function here. If let me write f1 only, and here I'm writing a local variable value of 10, and then I'm printing this particular value of x inside this function x. So let me call this function f1. So you can see here the value of x inside this function is 10. Now this is my local variable, okay, which is local to the function. Let's say if I want to print this particular value of x outside the function, I won't be able to. If I try to write print value of x outside this function, so if I try to print that, it will throw me an error. You can see here, name X is not defined. Why it is telling name X is not defined? Because outside the function, there is no value for this X. The local variable gets destroyed. So what I can do, if I want to print the value of X outside the function, I need to explicitly define this value. So how can I do that? Let's say if I have given here the value 20, now it will able to print, I'm able to give this the value 10, and then it will able to print the value 20. So you can see here the value of X inside this function is 10 and the value of X outside this function is 20. Now coming to types of functions. How many types of functions we have in Python? Basically, we can divide function in Python into the following two types. We have a built-in functions that are built into Python, and we have user-defined functions which are defined by the users themselves. So whatever the examples I have shown you now, they are all user-defined functions. Built-in functions will cover in the part 2 of Python function. Coming to the function argument. See, you can call a function by using the following types of formal arguments: required arguments, keyword arguments, default arguments, and variable length arguments, which we call it as args and quarks in Python. So let's have a look at the demo to have a better understanding of all these arguments of a function. See, first we are going to cover about the required arguments. See, required arguments are the arguments which are passed to a function in correct positional order. Here, the number of arguments in the functional call should match exactly with the function definition. So let me show you with an example, def f1, and I'm passing certain arguments x comma y. Okay, and then I'm printing the x comma y. Then I'm calling the function f1 1 comma 2. So let me execute this. So you can see I'm getting the value 1 and 2. Now this is the required argument. Okay, means I cannot pass here argument 3. If I give here 1, 2 and 1 extra argument, it's going to throw me an error. It's going to tell me f1, the function f1 takes 2 positional arguments, but 3 were given, right? So how many arguments I have inside the function definition? I have 2 arguments, x and y. But when I'm calling the function, I'm giving 3 arguments. So that's the reason it is failing. So in that case, if I want the 3 arguments, what I have to do? Either I have to write it here z and then print the value of z. Then this program will work fine. So you can see here, I will get the value 1, 2 and 3. So this is what we call as required argument. The number of arguments in the functional call should match exactly with the functional definition. Now we have something called as keyword arguments. Now see, the keyword arguments are mentioned during the functional call along with their corresponding values, even if the order is not maintained during the functional call. So let me give you an example here. Same example I'm going to take you. X, Y. So let me just take 2 arguments here. And here what I'm trying to do here is I'm passing the value of X. Okay, so let's say X equals to 1, Y equals to 2. If I execute this, so you can see here it is still working. What I can do, I can also reverse the order. I can give Y equals to 2 and X equals to 1 or whatever the value. So I'm reversing the order. First Y and then X. Still you can see it will work. It will give me the values. So this is what we call it as a keywords arguments. So these keywords are mapped with a function argument, so the function can easily identify the corresponding values even if the order is not maintained during the functional call. Now let's have a look at the default arguments. See, a default argument is an argument that assumes a default value if a value is not provided in a functional call for that argument. So let me show you with an example here. Here what I'm going to do it, X equals to, instead of X, I'll give you name. And let me give value age equals to 37. Okay. And then I'm printing the value of, let's say name, comma name. And then I'm printing again the age. So what I'm going to do here, whenever I'm going to call the function, so I'm going to call the name equals to Naveed. So let me call this function. Okay, some error has happened. Somewhere I have made a mistake. Oh, okay. So here I have given, see, it is very case sensitive. So you need to make sure that we are giving the correct arguments. Okay. So let me execute it. Now you can see here, name equals to 37, age equals to 30, name equals to Naveed, age equals to 37. Now I'm not passing I'm not calling that particular argument inside this function. Okay. But it is taking the default value. Okay. Now, if I try to pass the value, it will take that value, whatever value you give. So let's say if I give age equals to 50. Okay. So in that case, it will take the whatever the value you are passing. But here, even though if you don't pass, let's say if you don't pass, then it will take the default value. So this is something which we called as a default argument. So here, age is a default argument, which assumes a default value if a value is not provided in a function called for that particular argument. Okay. Now we come to a variable number of arguments. Now, what do you mean by variable number of arguments? See, this is very useful when we do not know the exact number of arguments that will be passed to a function, or we can have a design where n number of or any number of arguments can be passed based on the requirements. So let me just show you with an example here. Let's say def. Okay, I'm creating a function known as adder, which adds multiple, the sum of x, y, z, x, comma, y, comma, z. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm just printing the value of, the sum of these numbers. Okay, so what I will do, x plus y plus z. And then calling the function adder. And here I'm passing, 1, 2, 3. So ideally it should give me the value of, so how much it should, the sum of these number is 6. Now see, what do you mean by variable number of arguments? See, let's say my requirement has grown. Okay, so I need to pass one more here. Instead of 3 arguments, I want to pass one more argument, 4th arguments. So if I execute this, then my function will fail. Okay, to resolve this, we have in Python something we call it as an args. Okay, we call it as an args. So what do you mean by args? See, args treat value as a tuple. See, in this particular example, we are not sure about the number of arguments that can be passed to a function. Now, Python has args which allow us to pass the variable number of non-keyword argument to a function. Now, these arguments are passed as a tuple. So let me show you what I can do. So if you want to write an args, simply give star and whatever the argument name. Okay. Then let's say I want to, print these values. Okay. Sum, I want to have a sum. So what I will do, sum equals to 0. And then I will use a for loop because it treats values as a tuple. And tuple is a read-only data inbuilt data structures. For I in, let me give x, sum equals to sum plus I, and then print let me write the sum of these numbers, the sum of these numbers, then I'll give the value as sum. Okay, now just see how this particular for I in x. Okay, so yeah, it's following the correct indentation. Now just see how args will resolve our issue. So earlier we are not able to pass, we are only able to pass this, only 3 arguments, but now we can pass a number of arguments using the args. How do you define args? You give star and whatever the argument name, single star. Okay, so let me execute this. Now you can see the sum of these number is 10. Okay, so I can pass n number of arguments. Okay, so let's say if I again have a requirement 5, let's say 5 arguments I'm passing. So you can see there it will become 15. So let's say if I pass another argument, 6th argument, you can see here it is becoming 25. Okay, so this is how the args works. Okay, it can take n number of non-keyword arguments. Okay, let me give you another example how args works. So what I can write here, for loop is mandatory in args because you have to loop through each element. Okay, let's say in x, print I. Okay. So let's say this adder is there, function, and I'm calling range of 10 numbers. So let me check. So we can see here 0 to 10, or I can give here different data types. 1, hello, 9.99. So let me execute this. And you can see here, I'm getting these values as well. So different types of arguments we can pass to args. Okay. We can also have, let me give you another example of argument with the args. So let's say I have an argument here, y. Okay. So we can have single argument as well as this argument as well. So print first argument is, so first argument is y, which is a single argument, and then for I in x, print the value of I. Okay, then the next are arguments, and then I can call this function. Okay, addr. First it will take 1, and then it will take, let's say I have a hello, then 99, 9. So y it will take, because y is a standalone, it's a default, it's a default argument. Okay, not a default argument, I should say it's a more like a required arguments. Okay, so it is, y is a required argument. So here now I'm playing with a required argument as well as a args. So what I'm doing here is, first I'm taking a required argument which is a y, then I'm taking the walks value. So 1 will be put into y and rest all will be put into the value of x. So let me execute this. Now you can see here the first argument is 1, which is y, which is a required argument, and then I'm getting all this inside my args. Okay, so this way also we can do it. Now coming to quarks, what do you mean by quarks? Okay, so we call it as a quarks, K-W-A-R-G-S. Okay, we have two things, args and quarks. Okay, now we have already seen what is args. Now what do you mean by quarks? See, quarks Python passes variable length non-keyword argument to function using args, but we cannot use this to pass keyword argument. For this problem, Python has got a solution. We call it as a quarks. It allows us to pass the variable length of keyword arguments to the function. Okay, so the arguments are passed as a dictionary. So let me give you an example here. Def f1, and we'll give double star. Okay, double star x, this, and then we are returning the value of x. So here what we have to do, we have to do print. Okay, and let's say I have a variable var1, I will give it as, and here I'm passing the value. So a equals to 1, basically in a dictionary format. B equals to 2, C equals to 3. So let me execute this. And okay, so sorry, I made a mistake. It should be F1 here. So let me execute this. And you can see here in the form of a dictionary, I'm getting the value. Okay, A equals to 1, B equals to 2, and C equals to 3. Okay, so always remember, whenever you have a requirement to pass the keyword argument in Python, multiple means variable length, then you go for this quarks. So let me give you another value. Okay, so let me give you, let's say I will give you def function is there, double x is there. So what I can do, for keys comma values in x dot item. Okay, and then print, you can first print the keys, and then you can print the values. Okay, so this is also, you can do it. So you can see here, I'm getting the value 1, 2, and 3. So this way also we can do it. See, there are a couple of things that we need to remember. See, args and quarks are special keyword which allows function to take variable length argument. Args passes variable number of non-keyworded argument list and on which operation of the list can be performed. Whereas quarks passes variable number of keyword arguments dictionary to function on which operation of a dictionary can be performed. Always remember args and quarks, basically it makes the function, user-defined function, very flexible. Also, let me show you how can we pass args and quarks to a function. Now what we are doing right now, we are defining the args or quarks as inside the function. Now let me call these args and quarks, okay, to or from a function, okay, not inside the function, to a function. So let me create a function here, f1, and let me do as x, y, z, and then what I'm doing, print first argument, and then I'm writing x, sorry. So let me just copy this and paste it twice, v, okay, so this will become my second argument, which is my y, and this is my third argument, which is my z. Now here you can see I have not defined args and quarks as a part of a function definition. Now let's say I have a variable var1, okay. Now this particular var1 is having certain value. Let's say geeks is there, okay, 1, 2, 3 is there, 99.45 is there, okay. Now how can I pass this? Now how can I pass a tuple to my function, okay. Now always remember the number of elements should match here, okay, whatever I have, because it's a required argument. So the number of arguments should match. So how can I pass this entire tuple to my function definition? Very simple, simply call this function f1 and then pass this particular tuple. So let me execute this. Missing 2 required. Oh, sorry. Now if you try to do that, it will fail because it is taking as a single argument, okay. Now what can we do that? We can simply get star, okay, it becomes an args. So if I execute it, now you can see here, the first argument is gig, second argument is 1, 2, 3, and the third argument is 99.45, okay. Let's say I have a requirement to pass the, dictionary. How can I do that? You know, quarks. So I will give here, let me give some other name. So I will give here x equals to Naveed, y equals to $30, and then z, I will give it as Bangalore. So can I pass this? So let me execute this. So you can see here. No, it is not. Okay, so it's still taking args. Okay, I need to make the changes here, which I forgot. Now you can see here the first argument is Naveed, second argument is 30, and the third argument is Bangalore. Okay, so this is how we can pass the args and quarks to a function. Okay, we can also do it like that. Okay, now we can also use both args and quarks to pass argument to a function. Okay, so let's say I have a function here, def f1, and here I have star x and star y. Okay, so I have both args and quarks inside the function definition. So can I print both the args and quarks? So args comma x. Let me see if I can do that. And print quarks comma y. So f1. So to the f1 we need to provide certain values. Naveed, okay, 30, Bangalore. So this is the value for the args. Okay, and let me say first equals to Irshad. This is my last name, and let's say let's make it something else. Made equals to some junk values and all, just to test it. For, and then let me give last equals to geeks. Okay, so let me just change this one. So let me see if this works or not. Yes, it works. You can see here the args value. The args value it is taking Naveed, 30 and Bangalore, and the quarks value it is taking first. Then Irshad for the first it is taking Irshad. Then for the mid it is taking 4, and then for the last it is taking the gigs. So in this way also you can pass the value to your function definition. I hope you have all understood. Now we're going to look at the lambda function. What do you mean by lambda function? See, lambda function are called anonymous function because they are not declared in the standard manner by using the def keyword. You can use the lambda keyword to create small anonymous functions. Lambda definition does not include a return statement. Always remember, very, very important. It always contains an expression which is returned. So the result is not returned, but an expression is returned. Okay. It always contains an expression which is returned. Okay. The statement is not returned. Lambda forms can take any number of arguments, but return just one value in the form of an expression. They cannot contain command or multiple expressions. A lambda function cannot be a direct call to a print because lambda requires an expression. Okay. So you cannot directly put a print. I will show you all this thing. So this is the syntax of a lambda function. First you have to give the keyword lambda, then provide the argument, and then colon, and then you have to give the expression. So let's have a look at the demo to have a better understanding of this. So let's say suppose I have a normal function, okay, so where I'm giving def f1 and I'm having a normal function where I'm just returning the x plus x. Okay, I'm just returning the value, whatever the argument is provided, it will return me the value. Okay, or better I will give x plus 10. Okay, so it becomes whatever I am giving to x value, whatever I'm passing for the value of x, it should, let's say 5 I have given. So if I execute this, you can see the value 15. Okay. Okay, sorry, I have to do a print here because it is returning. So let me execute this, and you can see here it gives me the value of 15. Now how can I write this same function into a lambda function? Lambda doesn't have any name. So what I have to do it, simply I have to give f1 equals to lambda. Then I have to give the argument, what argument I'm passing, x argument I'm passing, and what is the expression? This is the expression, x plus 10. And then I'm printing the f value, and then I'm giving a 5. Okay, so let me execute this. Now you can see here you will get 15 here. Okay, now this 15 is for this one. Okay, so this is for the normal one, it is showing the output as 15, and for this lambda function it is showing 15. So let me put this as 6, so then it should be 16. So you can see here I'm getting the value of 16. So this is how we write a lambda function in array. Now I cannot do okay, so I need to provide an argument here. Okay, so that is why the print I'm writing separately. I cannot write a print here. If I write a print here, then I won't be able to provide the argument. Okay, let me give you another function of lambda. Okay, so I can also do at x plus 10 plus x. I can also do it like this. So let me see what would be the value. The value will be 22. Okay, so 6 plus 10, 16. 16 plus 6 is 22. Can I pass multiple arguments to the lambda? Yes, very much. So let me give you a very simple example. Okay, so let me say this is the name of my function and lambda I'm calling it. Okay, this is basically not a name of the function. It is basically a a kind of a variable. Lambda is a nameless function. So lambda, okay, x. What I have to do? X comma y comma z. And what I'm trying to do here, I'm writing a sum, x plus y comma z, and then I'm printing the sum, but I need to provide the arguments like 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay, so let me execute this. So you can see the value of 6 as well. Can I print, let's say A is there. Can I print this one lambda? Yeah, you do not have to give anything. I can print hello like this. String also I can print, simply give print A. This also I can do it. Okay, so sorry, this is a function, so I need to call it like this. So you can see here hello. So this also one of the ways in which we can do it. Okay, so there are multiple things we can do it with lambda function. Okay, so I hope you have understood what exactly is lambda, a nameless function. Okay, it doesn't have any name and all, and we can First, we need to write an argument, and then we need to write the whatever the expression, and then we need to print that particular function. Okay, so this is about lambda. So that's all from the function side. If you have any question, do let me know in the comment section, and I'll be very happy to respond. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for further Python programming videos. Thank you.